For this presentation, we read an article called Hearing Loss in Older Adults Affects Neural Systems Supporting Speech Comprehension. This presentation is by Brielle, Grace, and Mika.
Theoretical framework. Understanding how the decline in auditory abilities directly affects our neural system and responds to speech conception. This research builds on previously studied testing connecting auditory loss to the diminishing of thinking, reasoning, and cognitive state overall. Using MRI, we are able to notice different areas of the brain that are specifically affected by hearing loss. The framework implies that with age, hearing impairment is likely to have a negative impact on neural processing and language. Research question. Does hearing loss in age-related cases directly lead to decreased engagement during speech communication? Hypothesis. The authors hypothesized that reduced hearing ability will be associated with differences in language-related processing, reflecting an interaction of perceptual and cognitive factors at the neural level. Additionally, they hypothesized that challenges to peripheral hearing would produce qualitatively similar effects, resulting in an impoverished acoustic signal reaching auditory cortex.
Experimental method. The first method was an fMRI. The participants for fMRI were 16 healthy right-handed adults, ages 60 to 77. There were 7 male and 9 female, all with normal hearing. The stimuli was 240 6-word sentences. An example would be, boys that help girls are nice. Each participant heard all 240 sentences, half with subject relative and half with object relative structure. After each sentence, each participant was asked to press a button whether the speaker was male or female. The second experiment was a VBM experiment. Participants for VBM were 25 adults, 16 of who participated in the fMRI study. Ages 60 to 77, there were 13 male and 12 female, all with normal hearing, and this was analyzed with SPM-8. The results and meaning. The fMRI results. Participants performed well on the task, showing an advantage for subject-relative sentences over the object-relative sentences. There was no significant relationship between hearing ability and either accuracy or response times to correct responses, so mild hearing loss did not appear to affect participants' performance. There were regions where participants with poor hearing showed reduced linguistic activation. They were mostly bilateral and included superior temporal gyri, thalamus, and brainstem. There were no regions in which listeners with worse hearing showed increased activity related to linguistic complexity. The VBM results showed that there was a significant relationship between hearing ability and gray matter volume in right auditory cortex, and a non-significant trend in left auditory cortex. There was no relationship between hearing ability and gray matter volume in motor cortex. Age did not play an effect in any of these results.
Real-world implications. The changes the authors observed in their study of neural activity in auditory regions can also likely be resonated throughout a broader network. A correlation between hearing ability and gray matter in the primary auditory cortex suggests that hearing loss can reduce neural activity and contribute to a decrease in gray matter in this area. It is less constructive to think only about one brain region network in regards to a cognitive task, but rather look into the degree of activity that can be associated with both task demand and individual ability. In cases with more extreme individual differences, patterns can be easily divided into groups, which may indicate that this is not the best way to prove or characterize individual variability. The findings from this study underscores the importance for early interventions to address hearing loss, because it could help maintain both cognitive function and structural integrity of the brain as you age. Our question for the class is, how might interventions that are aimed at improving hearing ability in adults influence not only their auditory processing, but also their broader cognitive functions and quality of life?